Hello everyone, welcome back to the L.A.M.E Book Club podcast. My name is Melissa.
I'm Ellie.
And we are on episode 3 of Crescent City. We will be going over chapters 21 through 30, so buckle up, buttercups. It's going to be a good one. I specifically didn't say the other one just for you, Ellie. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yuck. That noise.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, speaking of that noise, already a small tangent. I saw online this girl, so funny, I was dying. She had like Christmas lights wrapped around, like loosely wrapped around her neck, not at all like choking her. And she was just like, I've never used color Christmas lights, but I'm so excited. And she's like, I'm getting so overstimmed. I'm getting so overstimmed with these. And so she started taking them off and she's like, ugh, why am I gagging? Ugh. And she could not, she gagged like 40 times trying to get these things off. I was dying.
That's amazing. Speaking of which, Merry Christmas, everyone. It is officially Christmas.
We are done with Halloween.
Last week was our Halloween episode. Today's the beginning of all of our Christmas episodes.
Woohoo!
If you're like us and celebrate starting November 1st, welcome. And if you're not, I feel so sorry for you. Because it's just magical. And I know what you're all thinking, but Melissa, there's Thanksgiving. That's fine. There's a time and a place. But I don't think I've ever had...
There's a time and a place?
I don't think I've ever had a Thanksgiving that wasn't Christmas decorated, if that makes sense. I know there are some people that can somehow hold out until after Thanksgiving to decorate, and more power to you. It's just so much work to decorate for Christmas, I think.
And if you don't decorate before Thanksgiving, you're decorating for what, 20 days?
I know. Well, about a month.
Not great.
A little less than a month.
Yeah. That's still too short.
I know.
60.
And minimum.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And maybe that's just because in my family growing up, Christmas was like the holiday, you know? I don't know. Christmas was like the big one. And so we had the most decor for that versus any other holiday and or season. And so it was just, my mom wasn't as crazy as I am. She didn't necessarily get everything out November 1st, but I don't know. It was usually pretty quickly after Thanksgiving was over, or Halloween was over, is when we would start decorating. This year, actually, I'm about to lose some people here. I actually started decorating before Halloween this year, but for only one reason, and it was just in case I went into labor, because I knew I wasn't going to want to do that afterwards. And so it was strictly a this year situation. I'm not that crazy. I will not decorate before Halloween any other year. It was a special set of circumstances.
Yes, and what a lovely segue. I would like to bring to the table, what do they call it? Nah, never mind. I'd like to bring up the fact that Melissa is likely going to be having this baby within the next week or so. So it's very, very likely that we will be skipping one episode next week. So
it's actually, it's not very likely. It is 100% guaranteed, because if I don't have this baby on my own this week, I have an induction scheduled for the end of the week. So it will. Perfect. We will be skipping a week for sure. I will have this baby this week, whether it is
but fear not for you guys
or not.
That just gives you one more week to read 10 chapters. And if I'm being absolutely honest, 10 is a little heavy loaded for these chapters. So props to you if you're keeping up with us, because I'm just like, wow, that was a lot of work. But fear not. I'm going to come up with an updated reading schedule. I'll let you all know on the gram what's going on and on Patreon. So stay tuned for that.
Yes. Also, thank you everyone for being here. If you don't already follow us on social media or YouTube, do so. We're at L.A.M.E Book Club Pod. Follow, subscribe, like, all the things. And thank you so much for everyone who does already. If you have an Apple device, leave a review. We love reading reviews of the week. And we have a website as well. It's lamebookclubpod.com, where we have merch. We have stickers and totes. We also, all of our episodes are up there too. I don't know if you, maybe YouTube isn't convenient for you, but you also want to watch the videos. I'm pretty sure it links to everything there. Yeah. Maybe it only links to Spotify. I'm not totally sure, but I don't really technology a ton. So, but I know that our episodes are linked there. So that's another medium if you prefer to listen there. But if you're a Patreon member, you also get 15% off of all of our merch. So join Patreon.
Join Patreon. We are actually starting Two Twisted Crowns this week. So what a heck of a time to start the sequel to One Dark Window. But really, you can always go back and listen to the other ones. And of course, we have bonus content. So at the end of every one of our Monday episodes, we have an after party that we throw on the Patreon where we might continue some discussion from what we're talking about, the meat and potatoes of this episode, or we might do something totally different. Today, we are going to do something just a little different. We are going to talk about Colleen Hoover's movie Regretting You. It just came out recently. We both saw it. Melissa read the book. So we want to talk about the casting, the similarities, what we liked, what we hated, some hot takes. So make sure you stick around.
Yep.
And that is all. Melissa, do you want to tell the people in the Halloween spirit still what your girls were for Halloween? Because I was dying.
Yes. Okay. So I know we just talked about Christmas, but we are shifting gears again because Halloween, as of recording this, Halloween just happened. So, and honestly, as of the episode coming out, also Halloween just happened. So, my 5.5-year-old is probably one of the funniest people I know sometimes. And this was all her idea, but Costco is like one of her favorite stores. And so she was, and my youngest, because she didn't really have an opinion yet, they were both Costco samplers. And it was the best. They had like what are they called? The like buffet caps, like hairnet
the hairnet, the cap.
They had a Costco hat. They had a Costco apron. Costco name tags, and then I made them like sampler trays that kind of went around their necks and hot glued like little of the sample cups with candy inside so they didn't fall off while they were running around. It was so funny, but like it was the star of the night when it came to costumes. Every single house we went to for trick-or-treating, they were like, Costco worker, like
I would have flipped if I saw that. Well, I did pass out candy. And nary a costume that impressed me last night.
Well, and it was funny because two of the people that we ran it, I don't know if this is like common. I know you're a little bit more like in the country, so I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, I don't know if this is what they do there. A lot of people in our neighborhood, what they'll do is people will like come over, or it'll just be their family unit, but they'll put like tables out on their driveway, and they'll either have like a fire or a movie playing on their garage, or just music going. And so it's just like a hanging out while they're passing out candy, and it is really cool. And if my kids were old enough to trick or treat by themselves, I would be doing that while they went to trick or treat. And so when our kids get older, we'll probably do that, but they're way too young to be trick-or-treating alone. Yeah. So we're going with them.
That's fun.
But yeah, it's really cool. So a couple of the houses that we stopped at, though, that a lot of people were sitting there. There were 2 separate houses where there were people that actually worked at Costco that were there.
No kidding.
And they were like, no way. They're like, you need to go. You need to show them these pictures. I bet you they'll give her something or whatever. I'm like, okay. I was like, I'll try it. See what my local Costco does.
Yeah. Watch probably them just nothing. Be like, cool.
I know. Free membership. No.
Oh, free samples. How about that?
Yeah. As opposed to the samples that I have to pay for currently. No, but it was just so funny. Like, they were like the most impressed were the people that actually worked there.
Yeah, that's so cute.
But, yeah, it was fun.
Meanwhile, I dressed up good ideas. As a banana because it was a leftover costume that my mom had. I was the only one of my friend group that dressed up. It's like a kid going to middle school and you miss the day. You get the day wrong for costumes. That's what I walked in. Bright yellow. Here's the problem, though, with the banana costume. The top, the stem, I couldn't get it to stay up. So it was just flaccid. Yes. And I looked like a little depressed yellow banana.
Well, that's amazing.
Amazing. Okay, so we have something super exciting if you stay tuned for this entire intro and didn't skip forward. We are doing a giveaway.
Yes.
And not only is it just a giveaway, it's a themed giveaway. Wait for it.
Love it.
Fourth Wing coloring book and calendar.
For 2026?
For 2026. Yeah, we're not giving 2025 calendars.
No.
The year's over. It's time to start anew.
You can use it for more than 2 months. You can use it for a full year.
A whole year. And also, I just want to, if you're watching, look how cool, I had to peek at January. Look it. That's so sick.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
It looks like, it's like
it looks like our branding almost. It's so fun.
a little. It's a little bit more grunge, I think, than our branding. But it's like something that I would see in 10 Things I Hate About You meets Fourth Wing. That's what the vibes it's giving for me.
It's so fun. But this coloring book, so fun. Not all strength is physical. You've got Violet on there. You get to paint her or color her silver hair. It's going to be a blast. Anyways, not only are we picking one winner, we are picking a whole 3 winners. So head over to Instagram. I'm going to have this giveaway posted within the week. It's going to be great. Be on the lookout and make sure you enter.
All right, so spoiler warning. Today we are deep diving House of Earth and Blood, chapters 21 through 30. And while we only talk about these chapters in Crescent City, we will be looping in anything we can from ACOTAR as well as Throne of Glass. So if you have not listened to those series, there potentially will be spoilers, so listener beware.
Yep. Last time on the L.A.M.E. Book Club, I'm bringing that back. Last time on the L.A.M.E. Book Club podcast, we left off. Rune texted Bryce to meet him at Luna's temple, and since there are no cameras there, it's a safe place to talk.
How ominous.
How ominous. Okay, I'm already geeking out. Chapter 21. I had a lot to say. Don't worry. Not all chapters are going to be this jam-packed, but there were theories upon theories upon theories. I was geeking. Okay.
Oh, wait. I have something I want to add really quick, too, before we get into this. Something we talked about on the last episode. I need to correct myself, actually, a little, just slightly. Someone on one of our YouTube comments, actually, corrected me, and I am so grateful because I'm realizing how I just don't math. Last episode, we talked a lot about how I was like, I'm not sure about the theory with Tamlin's or Reese's sister being Rune's mom because Reese is half Illyrian, he has wings, Rune doesn't, blah, blah, blah. Well, what I did not take into account is the fact that his mom would also be half Illyrian, or his sister, aka Rune's mom, meaning that Rune is actually only a 4th Illyrian, so the odds of him not having wings are significantly higher. And anyways, I suck at math, and I didn't really think about that, and we're gonna get into that a little bit more in a minute, but I just wanted to correct myself publicly in case anyone else was like, Melissa, you suck, that's not how genetics work. And I was like,
genetics are a tricky thing, aren't they? Well,
you're so right.
All right, let's jump in. Chapter 21. Though unhappy that his sister is working with Hunt, Rune finally comes around to accepting the situation as they both walk up to Luna's temple. Pause on Rune. So he's in the temple already. They're walking up, but he's hidden by his shadows. Then he appears, and Hunt's like, cool trick. We've seen this before, have we not?
Oh, we absolutely have with one Mr. Resand.
That's absolutely right. And so, just so interesting that Sarah would have them do the exact same thing. And again, people are like, well, it's just cheap writing. She just rewrites the same. No, this is strategic, and this is planned. This is planned. And I'll prove it. So, exactly like Melissa said, if he was Illyrian, like that listener commented, he wouldn't be half, he'd be a quarter. Therefore, he might not have wings, but it would also explain why he was able to have the exact same type of shadow power. The exact same type of shadow power. So, they all walk up, and then he's like, okay, well, now that like we're all begrudgingly friends, or just co-workers, I suppose, I'm gonna spill.
He tells amicable.
Amicable distance
acquaintances.
Yes. He tells them the Autumn King tasked him with finding Luna's horn and gives them valuable information about the demon they're seeking. So here's the scoop. Luna's horn was a weapon first also, when they go back into like, this is the history of it. I don't know if you guys do the same. My brain fogs over. I don't like the history lessons. I value them, but I don't like reading them. I think it's the intro of new characters so quick that I don't like it.
Well, yeah, I guess. I like it. I have a hard time compartmentalizing when it comes to like remembering it, but that's because of how my brain works. But I like it because I'm like, okay, if she's going back to give us context on something, this clearly means this is important, so I should probably be remembering all of this, and that's why I appreciate it. But I understand where you're coming from, where you almost like glaze over and you're like, bleh.
It's just tricky. It's just tough. But here's the thing, and this is our responsibility as your podcast hosts. We're going to dive into it, and we'll break it down, and we'll remember it for you so that you can glaze, and we'll pull out all the deep dives. So, Luna's horn was a weapon first wielded by Pelias, the very first Starborn prince during the First Wars. We still don't know what it does, but it was bad enough that the Prince of the Pit created a new abomination to seek out the horn, a demon called the Crystallos. At the climax of the First Wars, Prince Pelias stood against the Prince of the Pit, even as the Star Eater, which again is just another name for the Prince of the Pit, so even as the Prince of the Pit, struck him down with a fatal blow. With his dying strength, Pelias drew upon the horn's full might, casting the Prince of the Pit, his demons, and their hordes back into hell. The Northern Rift closed in that moment, sealed for all time, yet this little maneuver shattered the horn. It split it in two, the ancient power lost forever. Bounce back to the current day. Yeah.
I was to say, we learned what the horn does.
Well, yes and
Kinda.
no. Like, it opened up a thing.
It opened
to
and closed the rift.
But is that its whole power, or is it just its power allowed it to do that too? I guess.
That's what I mean. Like, asterisk, we learned what caveat.
Right.
Like, we learned it can do this. Is that the full extent? Question mark. But at least we know something.
We do know something. So, bounce back to current day. When Bryce sees the illustrations, she absolutely recognizes the Crystallos as the same demon she had seen the night Danica died. Someone has summoned the demon to hunt Luna's horn, but now the question is why? It's broken. What could they need it for? But once again, like calls to like, so Rune thinks that he can find it because there is light power woven into the horn. That is proven now. So, in my opinion, it's a real chicken or the egg situation, because they find the demon and then they find the horn, or they find the horn and the Crystallos will come to them.
Yeah.
Also, I don't really know if that is the definition of chicken or the egg. I was very tired when I wrote this, so I don't know.
I mean, I guess you can make it work. It's which comes first, the chicken or the egg, and so it's not necessarily a which came first. We know the horn came before the Crystallos, like that was created to nullify-ish the horn, or find the horn, whatever. But it is like, as far as in their situation, which one do we want to find first? Because whichever one we find,
one will lead to the other regardless. So, I want to talk about a bunch of things, but firstly, I want to talk about Luna. And I'm so excited. So we get a detailed description of the goddess that both the Fae and Shifters have adopted. What stood out, and I think that's important, both the Fae and the shifting species have both adopted this one god as their own. What stood out to me and made me pause and deep dive was something that wasn't even in the dialogue of the main characters, but of a tour guide passing through. He was like, everybody look to your left. We've also been granted a special permission to the chamber where the stag sacrifices are prepared. And that gave me pause, because anytime stag is mentioned, I'm thinking Throne of Glass. What does that mean? Yep. So then I got to researching and found this Reddit post that I like. And this is from Richie the Rat. So
Richie the Rat. That's my favorite Reddit username so far.
Yes. On the original cover of Crescent City 1, the lady that's Luna, or represents Luna, has green/turquoise eyes. Aelin has turquoise eyes. It's a small coincidence, but SJM is very strategic about eye color. Very strategic. Luna is said to have an affiliation with stags and wolves, because her statue, she has two wolves at the at like her feet.
Yeah. And
the royal emblem of Terrasen is a stag. Aelin has an affiliation, obviously, with wolf shifters specifically. And so could be something there. There are a few very suspicious moments of stags in CC1. And I cut out one of them because we haven't gotten to it yet, but I'll point it out when we get there. But there are other mentions of stags, and I'll point those out now. So there's the stags that are sacrificed to Luna, like we just read. Yeah. And then a little bit later in this chapter, there's a mention of Bryce's preternatural stillness that's likened to that of a stag. And finally, we know from the statue in Luna's temple that she is associated with hunting, which leads me to believe that she could be Deanna under another name. Please.
I was wondering where you were going with this. Oh, snap. Yeah. Except, I mean, I love it, but I kind of hate it because Deanna kind of sucks in Throne of Glass.
I know. So I don't know.
What a cool connection at the same time.
Could be something.
Ooh.
I mean, there's got to be more connection between Luna, specifically Luna, because she's the one who holds the horn, who bears the horn, and these other books, because if I'm correct in my thinking, the horn could be the fourth piece of the trove, which was found in the other books.
Yeah.
So I just feel there's got to be something else. Anyways.
100%. I mean, there's got to be a way. There has to be a way we've potentially connected the horn to Akatar. Mm-hmm. And so there has to be some, well, there doesn't have to be, but because we can connect it potentially to one, knowing that we can potentially then connect it to the other is pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And,
Okay. Next theory. So on the illustration that, this one kills me. On the illustration that Rune shows Bryce of the horn and the crystallos, above it is an 8-pointed star, and they say this in the book, which describes the emblem of the Starborn. Put on your tinfoil hats, will you? In chapter 12 of Akasif, Cassian makes a bargain with Nesta, where she agrees to train with him for 1 hour, and he will owe her one favor of any size. We remember this. From that bargain comes a tattoo inked on both of their backs, an 8-pointed star. Interesting.
Sure does.
Could this mean that Nesta and Cassian have some tie with the Starborn? It could be, especially because their mating bond is described as pure gold thread woven together with Cassian's power to form a starfire. That's the exact description. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Obviously, I would think that just based on all the similarities so far, I would think that if there's any connection Starborn-wise, it might be with Rhys, but I think I'm only thinking that because it's Rune who's the Starborn, and he has similarities, not necessarily his Starborn stuff. Mm-hmm. He himself and his shadows have similarities to Rhys.
Right.
It's interesting that you point out that the Starborn side of him, because now that I think about it, Nesta's power, it's more like silver fire, which is more light. I mean, her power is death, but I mean, like the way it like manifests is like silver fire from the way it was described, and that is a lighter thing. And it's not dark, it's not shadows.
I'd like to add in too, just that quick connection as well, since we're on the topic already. The silver fire, we've had this talk in an episode a million years ago. I could not remember now. But Deanna's power, as portrayed through Aelin, silver fire. Very interesting. It all connects. But I want to keep going on this because this is not it.
Because we made that connection. I think we made that connection when we did our Throne of Glass series, because we had already done Silver Flames. And we had talked about... because we obviously hadn't done Crescent City, so we're not going to make the connection with this book yet. But I think it was in our Throne of Glass, one of the Empire Storms episodes, because that was when we saw her. That was when Aelin was possessed by Deanna, and we saw the Silver Flames for the first time in Throne of Glass. So I'm pretty sure it was in those episodes, but I forgot. You're so right. There's another connection to Nesta. The 8-pointed star, but then now that also connects the three, potentially connects the three.
Yeah,
together.
Well, also Luna, I mean, the horn itself has star power woven in it, so if it is a representation of Deanna, that could be why. Okay.
Yeah.
But there's more. There's more. So further
But wait, there's
speculation.
more.
Further speculation comes from a Reddit user named Such Zebra 4339. They say,
Yeah,
in
it's no
Throne
Ricky
of
the
Glass,
Rat, but that's fine.
in Throne of Glass, chapter 37, Aelin attends a religious service in honor of the gods, and she notes that the high priestess has an 8-pointed star on her forehead. An 8-pointed star was tattooed upon her brow in a shade of blue that matched her gown, its sharp lines extending into her hairline. That's a quote. It's assumed by many fans that the 8-pointed star is solely the symbol of the Starborn Fae, and it must mean Nesta is Starborn, etc. But the star already existed before the Starborn adopted it as their emblem, as proven in Throne of Glass. Interesting
Potentially.
Potentially.
Depending on timeline-wise.
Sure. And they say, as it appears in all 3 SJM series, my theory is that it's a symbol of the gods that exist across the entire Maasiverse. And now I have more on this, because I kept going, because I'm an absolute nerd.
Hold on one second. Before we get off this, that was in the Throne of Glass book, right? Chapter 37, not...
Yeah, I think so.
You said, okay, because that was the... correct me if I'm wrong. Was that the ceremony... wasn't that God represent... Didn't she represent the Huntress? Wasn't that the Huntress, too?
They mentioned it, and I saw it, but I don't think Huntress sounds familiar. Let me see.
Because if so, and this is me trying to remember. I'm take all of this with a grain of salt, but that would be interesting because then again, if we're connecting it back to Luna, and Luna is described as being a huntress, and potentially also Deanna. I think Deanna was the huntress god in Throne of Glass.
Stop. That's
why I was thinking. I was like, wasn't it the because I don't think.
Be.
I don't
Gotta
think,
look it up.
Well, 100%. Her name wasn't Deanna at that point in Throne of Glass, like the book. I think it was just the goddess of the huntress or whatever was the one with the star, because that was really the only one that they talked a ton about. Because then that was the one, the bow and arrow. But there was a whole thing with like a little girl, and Aelin or Selena was part of it. It was like that was like the big part of the ceremony, was really the only emphasis that we got. And I just can't remember if that was the book that it happened in, or if it was a different part of the series.
Yeah, it's during a Yule Miss service. So I don't know if it was to a huntress, but it could have been.
Anyways, it's just
that's all I can find on it.
If that is the case, then that is also another interesting connection,
for sure,
between the two series.
Okay, but if it has nothing to do with Starborn, there is a second option we can all adopt. So, consider this. The meaning behind an 8-pointed star in our real world points to fertility and life. And if we look at where life, quote unquote life, comes from in these books, we can point back to the mother cauldron word situation. So, it could be a symbol for the cauldron or mother. Thoughts from Oat Milk Ho confirm my suspicions.
Ooh.
That's
I don't
a good
know.
one,
That it might replace. I don't know. I think I like Ricky the Rat a little bit more still, because in my mind it's like Ricky the Rat, like Ricky the Rat.
It's Richie the Rat, but yeah.
Oh yeah, Richie the Rat. But I don't know. Oat Milk Ho is up there.
It goes up
Man,
there.
these
Okay,
Reddit names are great.
they're so good. So they say, my theory is that the 8 points could be 8 distinct worlds that specifically overlap. Kill me. This is so good. So there's Aurelia from Throne of Glass, Midgard from Crescent City, the Prithian world from Akhtar, Hell, the Asteri world, the Gods world from Throne of Glass, and then there's 2 other worlds that Aelin saw, one Green and Wind, and the other of Endless Ocean. That makes 8. So she says, I could totally see SJM doing another cave carving moment where there's an 8-pointed star and in the middle is a sun with 8 different solar systems surrounding it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know why, for whatever reason, that one's a little bit harder for me to believe versus the first one. I think mostly just because in my mind, it would make more sense, since a lot of these worlds happen within the same series. Like, yeah, they definitely are different, but it would make more sense, I guess, since we haven't explored them as much, for if because if you haven't heard this before, it's all theory. I mean, there's nothing that necessarily confirming it, but the theory is that her next series is going to be crossover between all three of these, the Throne of Glass, Akatar, Crescent City, which is honestly, I mean, like, essentially, I think kind of what we're trying to find evidence of when we're deep diving Crescent City now.
Yeah.
But if that were to be her next one, I just would hope that we would have gotten more from some of these other 8. If this really is like the whole point, like there's 8 worlds, if we only get 3 series before she's going to combine them all, it just feels like the other 5 are going to be a little bit more lacking, the ones that we didn't get as much emphasis on.
Sure.
And I think for me, that's why it's a little bit of a weaker, not impossible, and certainly not saying it's not even a theory, but I think it's maybe a little bit weaker for me because of that, and why I like the first connection a little bit more. But to your point, it's possible.
It's very fun to think about. I could see it happening, but I do think that because it's so heavily ingrained in the Starborn people, it's got to be something more with that.
All right, chapter 22. So there's been hinting at this big fight Bryce and Rune have had years ago throughout the story so far. Well, guess what? We find out what it was because Bryce is still angry at Rune for calling her a, quote, half-breed slut during their argument. Yikes. Oof.
Yeah.
I will say that did feel a little out of left field from what we have gotten thus far from Rune.
I know.
But we don't know him very well yet. But from what we've gotten, that is I will say, what is that? I don't know. I don't remember his handle on Instagram, but there's a guy who always does the red flags, and he'll be like telling a story and then it pans to him and he just is like
through the field with the red flag.
I wouldn't say this is a whole running through the field scenario, but if I were him, it would pan to me and I would have this look on my face and I would be raising a small flag.
I love it. Yep.
But he is saying he didn't mean those words. However, Bryce is not so easily forgiving, which does track from what we've learned, and just lashes out a tad.
Yeah. Chapter 23, Bryce is at work when she receives a call from Jesiba. You know what? I'm going to take it back. I said it 2 episodes ago and I'm going to take it back. I said I don't care about Jesiba. She is the most fascinating. My second time reading this. She's the most fascinating. I'm like, you have so much lore about you. You know, you've been to all 8 worlds. I guarantee it. Tell me more right now.
I was shocked and amazed that you said that. And now I'm glad that you've seen the light. The Starborn light, if you will.
So a call gets made from Jesiba. She needs a file to be sent over from her to her. Bryce goes upstairs to her boss's office to find the document and is unnerved by the sight of the Godslayer rifle. Just a quick mention of the Godslayer rifle. It's an artifact that can kill anything. And I'm just like, well, you don't just like randomly walk by this artifact, look at it. Yeah, that thing, it could kill anything and anyone. Quick little description.
Forget about it.
Yeah, so I was like, 100% this comes back in.
Well, and you know what? It's interesting to me that, again, we've talked about this. This is like one concept that people have a hard time with the series is the fact that there are guns and a lot more like modern weapons, not just magic.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to me that SJM chose to make this, whatever it ends up being, a gun or specifically a rifle, because, and I guess to be fair, there are like magical creatures and stuff in this world where there are not in the real world, but in the real world, I cannot think of a single thing that a gun would not kill. So why is it so much emphasis put on the fact that this gun can kill anything? And
I think exactly that. There's magical creatures that like they'll get beheaded and they'll get put back together, so they're fine.
I have not once read a part where someone got beheaded and then stitched back together like Humpty Dumpty. That has never happened. But I'm just saying, I don't know. It feels very heavily implied that guns can kill just about everything already. So this is like such a small, like, this is a Melissa-ism. Like, this doesn't mean anything.
It's funny that you're, no, I'm glad you brought this up because it's funny you're finding issue with this and that you're like, well, obviously by anyone's logic, a gun could kill anything, because I wanted to pause on the fact that she's saying it can kill anything. And I was like, right, so we're just supposed to believe this magical gun will kill any being here, no matter how big bad. Sure, a Crystallos demon is going to get shot by a gun? Well, I don't think so. I had so much issue with this.
They're all like, and to be fair, I'm not necessarily talking about the Crystallos, like the demon or whatever, which to your point, is included in this. And the reason I'm not talking about it is because I don't think we know enough about the demon at this point in the book to confidently say either way. Yeah. But while we know that they all have like really long lifespans and stuff, no one that we've read about so far is immortal in the sense that they cannot die.
Sure, yeah.
Everyone that we've learned about thus far, with the details that we've been given, can die. It might be difficult to kill them, and they might only die in like a fight or something, like maybe not like a disease or something, and potentially could live hundreds of thousands of years. But so far, there is not one person that's like, there's nothing you can do, they live forever. Everyone can die. So knowing that's where I'm like, yeah, a gun could take out anything.
No, because, and here's where I'll bring this up. I know you said we haven't talked about anybody, but we kind of mentioned the House of Flame and Shadow that Jesiba defected to, and it's made up of ghouls and demons and the Underking, King of the Dead. A gun. True. To take out the King of the Dead.
All I'm saying is they've been mentioned. We have not dove in. We have not dived into it yet, though. So
also,
we don't know specifics.
I think Marvel has tainted my thinking because, you see, like someone shooting at the Hulk, nothing happens, and I'm like, a Fae with all this rippling muscle and I don't know. Even though, yes, they're not immortal, like you said, I just have such a hard time putting modern day tech with these old Fae beings and being a gun will kill him. That's crazy work. Anyways,
I know. I just think, well, and movies, quite honestly, have ruined most things for me. Even forget, I'm even talking let's talk war, nothing out of the realm of possibility, war movies. These, or even FBI shows, on TV. Who trained these officers? They all have the worst shot. If they were our legitimate force and the people we called on when we need help, no one would survive. They're all there's one person running and 17 people with machine rifles, and they make. I'm like, yeah, whatever. No way that not one bullet hits that person. So I think that I view Marvel, people shooting guns in Marvel like that. I'm like, yeah, this is not. And also, the Hulk is the impenetrable Hulk. I'm pretty sure is his name. So there's that. Or no, it's the Incredible Hulk.
Incredible. Yeah, the impenetrable Hulk really fits that narrative.
So close.
All right. Well, let me finish this. So after Bryce completes her task, Hunt contacts her about another body found ripped apart by the Crystallos. When the two arrive at the crime scene, Bryce nearly collapses. I am astonished that he can't summarize this in words and is like, I need you to come look at everything and relive your trauma once again. Crazy. She is having a painful flashback to the night of Danica's murder, of course, and then Rune gets to the spot a few minutes later and reprimands Hunt for his insensitivity in dragging Bryce there. So I'm glad someone's looking out for her. My gosh.
The slut shamer is looking out for her.
The victim was an acolyte at Luna's temple. All three investigators realized that she was killed shortly after they left the building. Hunt asks Bryce about the night she survived the Crystallos, and during their conversation, he reveals that the archangel she saved was Micah, the leader of the 33rd.
No way.
Yes.
Just kidding. I knew that because I've read this. But still.
But
I do remember the first time reading it, I was like, shut the front door. The archangel, the governor was taken down by this
most
demon.
handsome. Yeah.
The most handsome archangel. Yet, as Rune would say, half-breed slut was able to defend him off. Yeah,
Crazy.
Right.
Well, and that's funny you should say that. Exactly why nobody told anybody that it was Micah.
I will tell you, chapter 24, no one told Bryce or anyone that it was Micah, like you just said, because guess what? It's not a good look for a half-a girl to have saved the leader of their city. Exactly my first thought, quite honestly. So, makes sense why they didn't say anything. Bryce is angry that Hunt had withheld that information. Do you think you would be angry, or do you think you'd be like, I actually think I'd have a chip on my shoulder. I don't think I'd be angry.
I think I'd just be like, oh, yeah,
I'd be like,
a favor, am I not?
I would be like, whoa. Who did I save? What do I get? What is my reward for this?
Yeah.
And the cherry on top is no one knows. This is perfect blackmail material.
It sure is. We're thinking ahead. We're thinking we're playing chess in this game of checkers. Is what's happening.
Bryce is also angry that his insistence on taking her to the crime scene stirred up so many bad memories. That I can agree with her on. She goes for a very long run to clear her head, and after she runs, she thinks of a memory. Bryce remembered that day in their senior year, the stolen motorcycle, the reckless laughter that had turned to chaos in an instant. The motorcycle went down and Danica had thrown herself over Bryce, taking the brunt of the fall. Bryce could still hear her voice, soft and trembling, saying that she loved her and that she was sorry. Bryce had whispered for her to close her eyes, and then the memory stopped. Ugh. Tear, sad violin. My goodness.
Sad violin, but I'm also so curious.
I know.
Why did they steal that? Where were they going? What was the danger? Anyways.
Why the love?
Yeah.
Bryce then dashes inside the White Raven. Uh-oh. That's where she usually gets high. Is she falling off the wagon?
Well, again, it's funny. You're really great at segueing today because that's exactly what Hunt is thinking when he follows her in there. Chapter 25. He realizes that she does, in fact, intend to meet Juniper there, and he tries to prevent her from drinking alcohol, giving her such a hard time. And she's like, Uno reverse, my guy. It's water. And turns out,
reverse, my guy.
She hasn't drank since the night Danica died. And he's like, oh, she's not a party girl.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to her than I thought. She's not just some willy-nilly whatever girl wants to get her nails done. She was working on the case. Okay, I have her all wrong. And Bryce is still riled at the Archangel Bryce is still riled at the Angel and walks away from their table while Juniper tries to calm her down. At this point, Rune arrives because he got a tip from the owner that his sister is there, which is so interesting. Your sister's here. On my way.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, I gotta go. She's not even doing. And honestly, too, I guess I get it if no one knows that she is no longer drinking and partying and all that stuff. If he's concerned about her well-being, I guess that makes sense why he would want the owner of the club to tip him off.
Yeah.
But again, you guys don't have a great relationship. I get it that you care for her and stuff, but just what's the point? I don't know. I don't know. I do understand the point, but I also don't at the same time.
I think he wants to make amends, and by doing that by being overprotective fae alpha hole.
Which is the exact way with her personality to not make amends.
Sure.
So that's where I'm like... That's where I'm like you get her, but you also don't get her if you think that this is going to work. But Precisely. At the same time, I know that you are just trying to protect her and you're going to do whatever you need to do, even if it makes her mad. So that's where I'm like, I logically understand what you're doing, but I also don't logically, because this is a definition of insanity. You're going to keep doing the same thing that's going to keep pissing her off, but expecting a different result and expecting a mended relationship. It's not going to happen this way, my guy. Maybe just figure out do this, but then figure out a different way at the same time. Chapter 26. A few moments later, and without warning, the club explodes. Boom. Bryce throws her body over Juniper to protect her. Incredibly, none of the four are seriously injured. Juniper is furious that Bryce tried to shield her because the fawn has already made the drop and Bryce hasn't. I remember reading this and being like, at first, the first half of that sentence being like, when Juniper was mad, I was like, excuse you. And then I continued to read and it, like, understood a little bit more why. I was like, okay, I take my excuse you back. I understand the frustration.
Yeah.
Hunt takes her back to Rune's place and tries to patch up Bryce as best as he can. He sees that the scar on her leg, which she got the night of the Crystallis attack, never healed, and she still limps because of it. He blames himself and his warlike treatment, where he just stapled her up and called it a day. Finally getting a little bit of humanity out of Hunt. Hunt and Rune speculate that the bombs were set by human followers of Briggs, who is still in prison. On the box where they suspect the bomb was smuggled in, there was a Karis rebel group symbol and a symbol of the horn, everyone.
I did not for a second think that Briggs had anything to do with the horn, even though they keep trying to like loop him into this narrative. I was no, he's just like this third party bad guy. There's something deeper here.
Quite honestly, I just at this point had assumed that he served his purpose and he was just there as a distraction in the beginning with the whole Danica thing. And now we're about 2 years later, and now he's in prison. That's the last we're going to hear from Briggs. And then he gets mentioned again. And I'm like, interesting. Why does this human keep getting brought up?
It would make sense, though. Okay, so here's where my mind went, because it would make sense that someone was framing Briggs because his original plan was to blow up literally the White Raven. Yeah. But it also makes sense that Bryce, Hunt, and Rune got tipped off that they're all over there. Maybe it wasn't the manager, maybe it was. But all the people that are getting really close to figuring out what's going on with this horn and have figured things out more than anyone else has in the past 2 years, that they're all in one place. So, yeah, could have been an assassination attempt. I don't know. But my eyes and ears are peeled.
Ew, your ears are peeled?
They're peeled.
All right, well, now that Bryce is looking for the horn, the Autumn King insists that she has all day live-in protection. Rune offers, but she's like, I don't really feel like it. I'll pick him, and chooses Hunt. Ooh, one penthouse, the other trope that everyone is obsessed with. There's one bed, one horse, but wait for it, one penthouse.
One penthouse. I love it.
As they leave, Rune says that he wants to visit the library in the gallery basement the next day. He hopes to find some clues about Luna's horn there.
Yes, chapter 27. Back at Bryce's apartment, Hunt does a more thorough job of a first aid on her wounds. He notices that Bryce never had her leg injury from the night of Danica's murder magically healed. And when I was like, well, you just clearly saw that she never fully healed.
Yeah.
Oh, difference. There's magically healed, and then there's just regular healing. So I guess that's an option here. He realizes that she is still punishing herself because she could have had it magically healed.
Yeah.
And so he thinks that, like, I think he's is a lot more sensitive in this moment and is really understanding her. And I like it. Yeah. So Hunt gets food for both of them and plans to sleep in the guest bedroom of Bryce's flat for as long as the case continues. He reveals to Bryce the deal that Micah offered him for his freedom. The two are very clearly developing more sympathy for one another. And also it turns out that Hunt knows of Bryce's stepfather, Randall Salago, and he is a legendary war hero and sharpshooter. So he wasn't just someone that was good with guns and taught Bryce early. He was a legend.
You know, and this isn't really a spoiler. It's, if you haven't read the series, then you're not going to know. But for me, this was giving, in the, I can't remember what it's called, what the series is called now. It doesn't matter. It's the Spark of the Everflame books. Actually, I think it's called The Spark of the Everflame is a series. And then, anyways, the main character, Diem, in that, her dad is like a legendary war general or something. And there are people with magic, there's humans and whatever, but like he's known throughout the land for being legendary. And so that was, Randall is giving her dad for me in this, just in that it's similar. That's it. Literally the only crossover. But
I think Randall, to me, and I couldn't get it out of my head and I don't know why. Well, I know why. It's because I'm obsessed. But he gives Charlie from
shut up.
Twilight. I just couldn't get it out. He does.
No, Charlie is so soft, but like not in a bad way. Randall, actually, the way I pictured him, even though his character is like not at all described like this, I pictured him as being the old bad military guy from Avatar. Like the blue guy's Avatar. That's like visually, that's kind of how I imagine Randall, but obviously very different personality. But that's kind of the vibes that I got from him, like what I assumed he looked like because of how he was described. Yeah.
But no. All right.
Well,
Chapter
I guess,
28.
and I think the reason I think that is because that's also how I pictured
the
dad.
other one.
Yeah. So they're the same person to me.
Do you remember that time last year? It was probably around this time last year that every single MMC I read about, no matter how they were described, I was telling you, I could not picture them differently than like a red-headed anime character.
Yes.
Like that was all I could see. It was ruining a lot of books. I had to really recalibrate.
I do remember that. Chapter 28. The following morning, Juniper breezes into the apartment like the fawn she is, using her spare key. She brings pastries as a gesture of apology for the night before. Ooh, I could go for a pastry right now. My goodness.
Little croissant
she also
action.
Croissant. Little chocolate croissant. What is that? Is it, I think it's Mad TV, but there's the like, oh, you want to be my little croissant? My little croissant with cheese?
Croissant with cheese?
Yeah.
It's that guy's like, I like the back of your head.
No, hey, oh girl, the back of your head looks ridiculous. Yeah.
That is
oh my god,
so
one of my
old.
favorite. Oh my gosh, but so good. Like, that's hilarious. Anyways, she also informs Bryce that the club owner has hired Fury to kill whoever bombed the White Raven. The club owner fired Fury, even though Fury was not employed. Hunt announces that he needs to return to headquarters for a change of clothes. Bryce has decided to accompany him there that afternoon.
Oh. Chapter 29. Later that same morning, Bryce goes to work, followed by Hunt. Rune arrives to get a look at the library, and Bryce does research on her computer to pinpoint Danica's whereabouts during her final week. This information, I didn't write it, but it was given from Declan, the Wiz. What do you call him? That guy in the closet from... Yeah, Kim Possible.
AKA Wade from Kim Possible.
Everyone is surprised to discover that Danica was stationed at Luna's temple 2 days before the night the horn was stolen and the night of the blackout, which might explain why the Crystallos attacked her as it searched for the object. But let's not forget that whoever is summoning the demon to track the horn and kill these people doesn't have the horn. Someone else stole it, so we're essentially looking for two different people, the killer and whoever has the horn. Really a twofer. Oh, have you seen? No, there's this like video where these two people, they're projecting, are pretending to be birds in a tree, and one person is like, ooh, 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 and like dodging. And she looks at the other guy and she's like, does this not concern you? And he's like, why? They only have one stone.
No, I have not seen that.
Well, it's hilarious. Okay. Rune stumbles across a book that describes Pelias being the High General for a Fae Queen named Thea. They entered Midgard through the crossing. Thea and her daughter were both Starborn and shared the same power. We find out that the horn only worked for the Starborn when it's filled with power to the absolute max, which discourages Rune because he obviously struggles with star power. We saw that with the Autumn King. He could barely pull out that little sliver and he was sweating. Yeah. Nonetheless, now we know that the horn might actually be able to be reactivated by Starborn magic, but it can only be repaired by, quote, light that is not light and magic that is not magic. I think the first half of this riddle I've got
goodness.
Starborn, right? Light that's not light. It's their light. Because it's not from the sun.
Maybe.
But magic that's not magic? Please, love? I don't know.
Yeah. Starborn love. That's what can repair it.
Yeah.
Chapter 30. Last of today. When Bryce and Hunt arrive at the comitium, aka headquarters, Bryce goes through Hunt's phone with him and is shocked that he only has 36 photos and they're all of just crime scenes. I don't know why this just little tidbit of normalcy that Sarah gave us in this book sent me.
Yeah.
I loved this. 36 photos. What? No way. My grandma has more pictures in her phone.
Oh my
than
gosh.
That. That's
No. There is a way because my husband goes to Scotland with me across the ocean. We come back home. I'm showing him all 14,000 pictures I took. He shows me the one, and it's of the menu because it was too far away to read up that far away. Oh my gosh!
But you know what? He's with you and he sees you snapping all day long. So he doesn't feel like he needs to take a picture.
Truly
Hunt is alone.
If you ask me. They share the same brain and I don't understand. It's not one that I share.
It is giving boy. That's for sure.
Gives boy.
That definitely is true. She takes a picture of herself and then asks Hunt if he's dating, and he gives her the ominous, no, but there was someone once, and it ended badly. And then no detail on top of that. That's it. Once again.
Also gives
classic boy. Yes.
I guess this guy, broke up with his fiance. Why? I don't know. What happened?
Oh my gosh,
I don't know.
Those are my favorite because that is every conversation I have with my husband. Literally,
yes.
He's like, "Oh, I forgot to tell you this happened when." I don't know. Actually, you know what? Zeke, he really he leveled up on this the other night. We were talking, I don't even remember what we were talking about, but we were talking about something, and he goes, yeah, well, it happened in the last 2 months. And I was like, no, really? I was like, that is so recent. And he goes, well, I'm just assuming it happened in the last 2 months. I'm like, what? And he goes,
confidence.
It could have been, he goes, for sure within the last year. I'm like, where's 2 months?
That's so different. Oh my gosh.
I know. I was like, this is why I love you, but I hate talking to you. And I hate when you get stories and I don't, because I truly never know what is accurate and what is not. Like, genuinely.
While we're just flaming the men, I do have one more story. So there's this trend going around and I did want to try it and it absolutely held true. You ask your significant other, and you say, I've just had no, you don't ask them. You just say this. I've had the most horrible day. So I bought some bread. And the first thing out of any woman or child's mouth is like, oh my gosh, why was your day so horrible? The first thing out of the man's mouth, what kind of bread? And it rang true.
I'm gonna try.
Are you kidding me?
I think Zeke would say why, what happened. I don't think he would ask about the bread, but I'm gonna try that later today, and I will report back on our next episode and see what he says.
Please.
Oh man.
And that's all for today, folks.
Yes.
So I hope you enjoyed.
There's lots of theories, potential connections, lots to digest. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. We will not see you next week because I'm having a baby, which is exciting. But we will be back shortly after. Excuse me. And we'll be here on Wednesday for Patreon. So don't forget to join if you don't already, and check that out if you are. But otherwise, have a great rest of your week, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Stick around for the after party. We're talking regretting you. Bye.